Hello, and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on one volume each episode. We keep the discussion spoiler free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering Volume 32, Love Song, which covers chapters 296 through 305. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. And joining me today, we have Sean.
This is Sean.
And
Definitely
Evan.
SO.
All right. So last volume, we had Enru. He had set into motion Kingdom Come, which is a giant thundercloud that was set to wipe out all of Skypiea. As Wiper looked on in horror, he thought back on the story the chief had told him about his warrior ancestor Calgara and his friend Mont Blanc Noland. Upon hearing a bell in the distance, Noland followed the sound with his crew and arrived at Jaya 400 years ago. He interfered with the ritual sacrifices the Shantians would make in hopes of stopping the plague that was killing their people. After convincing the people to give him a chance to administer a cure, he was successfully able to cure everyone of the tree fever. Calgara and Noland became fast friends. Calgara had shown Noland the giant bell at the center of the city of Shandor, explaining the significance of the city and how they must protect it. The bell was used to guide the spirits of their ancestors that rested in the forest. Not realizing the significance of the trees, Noland and his men worked as fast as possible to cut down any remaining infected trees that could cause the tree fever plague to spread. The Shandians were greatly offended at the destruction of the trees without knowing that they had to be cut to save their people. A rift grew between the Shandians and Noland's men. Just before setting sail, Calgara's daughter, Muse, explained to Noland's men why her people were offended. Having learned the reason behind the trees being cut, Muse relayed this to her people, who now see that this was a misunderstanding. With their friendship now mended, they rang the bell for Noland. Calgara and Noland promised to meet again someday, hoping to reunite through the ringing of the bell. Upon his return to his homeland, Noland had reported of the city of gold to his king. Wanting the gold for himself, the king had Noland lead the way back to Jaya. Fortunately, half of Jaya was now missing from having been launched into the sky by the Nakup stream. Seeing no gold, the king had ordered Noland to be executed. Back in the present, Luffy is determined to bring the bell himself. He and Nami sent a message down to his crew below Giant Jack, telling them to cut the stock down. All right, so yeah, last volume was mostly, flashback, backstory, and now we're back in the present, and things are not looking good. So hopefully, things will work out for the best. But before we get back to Skypiea, we have the next part of the cover story, Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 21. The Navy man who saved lives and information is on fire. The Navy soldiers look on as they see the heroic soldier who jumped in to save the day is still on fire.
Still
with a smile on his face.
Yeah, so this guy, he was ready to jump in and save the day, and hopefully he's not too burned. But I guess we'll have to find out in the next part. So for right now, let's move on to the next part of Skypiea. Chapter 296, Ultimate Sky Situation. As Zoro dashes to cut down Giant Jack, Enru launches an assault of lightning at him. Zoro manages to cut his slice out, but the stalk doesn't budge. Below, Nola regains consciousness and helps in the efforts to knock down Giant Jack. After smashing into it, the stalk teeters but does not fall. The entire civilization of Skypiea looks up to the sky in fear from their boats, knowing it's only a matter of time until they're all wiped out. Wiper is now awake as well, and wonders why Luffy wants to ring the bell when it's his people who should have the right to do so. Robin tells Wiper about Nolan's descendants down below in the Blue Sea, who believed in the existence of El Dorado. She tells him that Luffy wants to ring the bell in hopes that they will be able to hear the bell from here, letting them know that the city was real. Realizing that the descendant of Noland is below, Wiper now sees the significance and uses his rejectile to blast away the rest of the stalk that's holding it in place. At the expense of his own body, Wiper's blast manages to give Giant Jack the push it needed to fall over. Now he drives the Waver at full speed up Giant Jack, but Enru plans to take it down from the base as he blasts lightning at the ground. All right, who wants to start off on this one?
It's one resilient beanstalk. When they told Zoro to cut it to the west, I was like, oh no, not a direction, anything but a direction.
Yeah, right.
I was worried Zoro was going to cut it like the wrong side of it or something.
No, luckily Zoro was on top of his game here. He cut in the right place. It just didn't do too much.
We also get to see the most feared attack in all of One Piece, the Rubber Band of Doom.
It makes his triumphant return.
Always a pleasure to see it in action.
I mean, they couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah, right. It's actually a really fun panel with Usopp doing like multiple attacks from multiple angles, all kind of like captured in one cell.
Yeah, that's like one of those things that like you can just totally see like happening. You know, like it's just like it reads really well on the page.
Yeah.
Exploding stars, rolling exploding stars. Rubber Band of Doom. A lot of great Usopp faces. It's kind of the same face he makes several times, but
yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if we explicitly had it in the last line, but Evan had figured it out that this is the same snake that was a little snake that hung out with Noland and Akagura. It's the same snake now grown up.
Nola.
So the real of this guy, yeah, Nola.
An appropriate name.
Yeah, finally an appropriate name. Remember when we were calling it like the catfish snake monster or whatever it started off as? Then it was Ruler of the Sky, which is better, but a mouthful still.
So like Wiper should be dead, I feel like. I hate to say it.
Three strikes and you're out.
Like, well, that plus all the other abuse he suffered over the last 24 hours is just like...
He's been taking a beating. Yeah, especially after they talked about like how powerful the rejectile is and like how much of a toll it takes on your body.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more of those things. It's kind of like say, not show kind of thing. But yeah. I mean, he does get pretty beat up, but not to the extent that you would expect based on what they said about the rejectiles.
I mean, we'll get into it in later chapter as we move on, but it's... I think he should be dead, but it is what it is.
Or he's lucky to have his arm still. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if he like lost his arm.
Yeah.
Because this is the third time he's used it, correct? I think so.
Yeah, because I know he used it against Shura, Enru, and now Giant Jack. So yeah, he's used it at least 3 times.
Nami going full nitrous on the waiver. It's like
all gas.
Say for family.
Yes, I just imagine you're like, Luffy, what's that? And like Luffy turns and you just see Dominic Toretto and his Mustang or whatever, just driving up the side of Giant Jack. It's like, let's do this, Luffy. That's our family down there. We gotta do it.
We're doing this for our family. Now we do it for Nakama.
That's for the Nakama down there.
Yeah, so Evan might not be familiar. Are you familiar with the term Nakama?
I don't think so. I'm getting your Fast and Furious reference, but that's about it.
Yeah, so like Nakama is just like a term that's commonly used for like kind of like pseudo translations. It's like one of those terms. Sometimes people just kind of leave it like the fan subs, but like it's used in other things like Naruto. I've seen like in Naruto, but it's like a term they use for the crew. It's meant to be like comrade, like somebody like that you're close to. So it's like very close like friendship. But yeah, so it's still a term that like you'll see. So but it's not like you wouldn't see it like in the English translation, but people keep it for like fan translations.
There's a funny ProZD video of that involving this word among other things of just like, hey, we want to keep certain Japanese words even though it we can just use an English equivalent. But because we like it so much and we see it in so many dubs, it's very like, you are my nakama. It just doesn't work. It just I'll post it in the Discord. It's one of my favorites. But
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just a
Good
little
to know.
tangent. But anyway, so about the actual chapter, I do really like this moment where Wiper has like the realization that Kagura's descendant is down below, and that's like what motivates him to basically put his life on the line for Luffy to go up there and ring the bell. So he's kind of like helping Luffy to fulfill like his own like ancestors like promise. So like it touches him deep because he starts to cry here. It's like it really resonates with him. So he now gets it. So he's behind Luffy now. Like no matter like what they went through before, he's out Team Luffy. He's like, yeah, I get it. Luffy's on our side. Like he can do this for us. So we're gonna help him out here. And it's very effective. So the rejectile blasts like a massive hole through the beanstalk. Like Zoro cut like a little like pie slice out, but like the rejectile like blasts like a massive part of the beanstalk away. Yeah. So Luffy's on the way up there with Nami.
he's on the way.
But Andrew's trying to stop them, which is also like pretty powerful for Andrew to be able to just kind of chill up there and still attack them and be aware of what's going on from where he is. So yeah, just the fact that he can do that, I think it says a lot about how powerful he is. All right, but any other thoughts on this this chapter?
Let's keep climbing.
All right. Moving on to Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 22. Ace busted.
It took long enough.
The Marines realized the hero was none other than the pirate Firefist Ace, who makes a run for it.
Run, Ace, run!
I love like this look on his face, like, oh, gotta go.
Well, the jig is up.
Somebody's even shooting at him. It's like he just saved all those people, and they're like, oh, let's shoot him. Get him. Yeah, so that explains why he wasn't burning. Okay.
All makes sense now.
Okay, let's move on to Sean's summary for the next chapter.
Alrighty. Chapter 297. Praise of the Earth. Eneru be monologuing. I mean proper-ass villain monologuing that would make Crocodile proud. As Luffy and Nami continue to ascend Giant Jack, Eneru is already trying to send it crashing back down. Wiper isn't having any of this. Despite barely being able to stand, the proud Shandian claims that Eneru will never be able to topple the history of their people, no matter how much destruction he causes. The Earth will not lose. And wouldn't you have it, he appears to be right. As Upper Yard suddenly stops trembling and Giant Jack remains where it is, allowing Luffy to make his final approach. Eneru decides at this time that his Kingdom Come is powerful enough as it is, and he unleashes it, sending the massive cloud of wind and lightning down towards the people. Luffy naturally jumps inside of it. I repeat, Luffy jumps off the waver and inside the whirlpool of destruction. But it is here where we see the method to his madness. Luffy unleashes his Gum Gum fireworks attack, which appears to be a modified version of Gum Gum Gatling, where Luffy rapidly extends his golden ball-encased arm throughout the cloud. As Eneru and Nami realize, the Straw Hat Captain is using the conductive properties of his gilded arm to discharge the electricity inside of Eneru's Kingdom Come. But can he do it in time? All Captain McKinley and Conus down below can do is pray. Pray that the country and people are protected. Their faith is rewarded, as Luffy successfully manages to let the sun shine again when he discharges Eneru's entire attack. I guess you could say Eneru's attack fizzled out.
Beautiful.
Unfortunately, I have to cut that part for copyright.
Come on!
But I appreciate the dramatic effect. Yeah, so pretty smart thinking on Luffy's part.
Brilliant.
Use what you got.
Luffy again thinking on his feet. He even had a name for it, the golden peony.
Yeah, again, I feel like that's another word that surprised Luffy knows.
Yeah, right.
Which
I'm
is
even more
just
surprised that he knew to use a conductive element to
Yeah.
defuse the bomb.
might have been a happy accident.
Yeah, I think he just thought he could.
Maybe.
I think he just thought he could punch the lightning. Like he's just like, nah, it's fine. I got this. Just punch it. See, it worked.
Yeah, the peony is a type of flower, so he's, I guess, creating like a flower type effect with the way his arms like kind of flying around.
Hmm.
I would imagine that like because of the gold too, like it would probably give an effect of gold moving around like that. So maybe that's why he calls it specifically a golden peony.
Oh.
Ah.
But again, I'm just speculating because it's in black and white. Can't really tell.
We know it's a gold ball.
Yeah.
I think that works.
But yeah,
Last
Nami's
page
still
of this
concerned.
chapter.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Nami, like, what was the plan with Nami? Nami just launches off the end, and then Luffy abandons her.
Well, the main thing was just getting up there. So you figure out the rest later.
Didn't really figure out the path down.
No, so did they show it here? How their clouds around?
I mean, it's resolved later, but at this moment in time when I first read it, I was like, "Whoa, Nami's free falling."
Oh, is she free falling still? No, she lands on the cloud. Yeah, so there's a little part where she lands on a cloud that's not like all the way down, but it's like kind of in the middle, where there's like a boom.
Oh, I do see it here. Yeah.
Yeah, so Luffy kind of seems to throw her towards like the cloud.
Oh.
I missed that on my first read through. Like I saw it later on, but I was like panicking because I was like, "What's happening to Nami?"
Yeah, and then Nami's like, Luffy, you're going the wrong way. The ship's the other way, but Luffy's jumping right into the cloud, and that's why she's concerned because like even Luffy might not be able to survive that storm, but Luffy proves her wrong.
Classic.
The last page of this chapter is so great. The let the sun shine like dissipates the attack.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
such
that is
a
cool
looking panel.
Yeah, actually, now that we're speaking about it too, I think this is the first volume where I noticed the paneling feels different. Did you guys notice that too? Where I feel like there's a lot more like slanted paneling, and like some of the pages are not like full double page spreads, like kind of split, like 2/3 of the way into the pages.
Yeah, I think I sort of know what you mean.
Yeah, totally. It even happens on the first page of this same chapter.
Yeah,
Where
I'm
there's
not
like
sure
a
if
whole page split.
Yeah, I don't know if I just wasn't paying enough attention in previous volumes, but like I feel like it just stood out to me. Like it just kind of clicked with me. I'm like, I started noticing in this volume in particular,
Mhm.
like just different panel layouts and like the more slanted panels. I think it is cool,
Totally.
but it's like an interesting panel layout for this volume.
Absolutely.
But yeah, to your point though, when he says like let the sun shine, it is really cool because it does take up like 2/3 of the pages, and then you see like the clouds start to like depart, and you can just kind of get like the sense like the threat has passed.
All is well now.
And I do like the moment with Luffy like in there too. He's like mad at Enrique. He's like, "Here we are on this nice sky island.
Yeah.
You go and make the weather all thunderstormy and nasty, you thunder freak."
Yeah, jerk. Look
We're on
what you
vacation.
did, you little jerk. I could be eating more sky lobster right now, but you had to go and be a bitch about it.
And what'd you guys think of the moment where the citizens of Skypiea decide to pray?
Who are they praying to precisely? Like nebulous gods, or is it like?
Yeah,
They're just
I
asking
think
for
they're
a miracle, really.
Yeah, I think they're just like, if there is a god out there, please like help us.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like the moment.
Yeah, no, it works.
Yeah,
It
me
works
too.
in context of just being like, and it's also this kind of like wild thing of the people up in the sky, essentially in heaven, having to pray to something that is nowhere within heaven. Well, I guess Luffy, but they're not technically praying to Luffy.
Yeah.
It's this idea of like, well, shit, even the angels are praying now.
Yeah.
Shit is going badly if that's happening.
The Shandians and the Sky People both are
Mm.
all praying together, so it's kind of like they're united in that moment because they all want the same thing.
There's basically nothing else they can really do at this point.
No,
So
nothing.
like their fate is basically in the hands of like other people, or there's like a higher power. They're basically like, this is our fate. Like if we can get a miracle, that'd be cool. Please protect us.
Mm.
Yeah.
But like I said, it is like a unifying moment. So that is one thing I really like about it too. Is just like they all start doing it together because like well, I guess we might as well try. We have nothing else to lose. So yeah. Anything else on this one? Okay, let's move on. Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 23. Forgot something. Oh yeah, Ace had to deliver Mota's letter. And the whole reason for coming here.
Hey, please, here you go.
Love Ace's expression, like, my bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't trying to cause
I'm so
trouble.
embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. I forgot to give this to you.
And they're still shooting at him.
Yep. Trying to.
And just like the disrespect, like standing on this guy's head.
The audacity.
But hey, he was good on his word. He delivered the letter.
I wonder what's inside. Secret Navy communications. Sure.
All right, let's get Evan's summary for the next chapter.
Chapter 298, Love Song. The Shandians and Sky People look on in shock as Eneru's kingdom come disintegrates. Wiper calls out to Luffy, pleading for him to ring the light of Shandora. High above, Luffy launches his attack on Eneru, promising to ring his bell and the golden bell in one swing. Eneru changes into lightning form and attacks first, using 200 million volts Amaru. The attack is ineffective. No surprise there, as Luffy lands a kick on Eneru's jaw. Just then, Luffy is stricken with pain as he finds a golden trident thrust into his back. Luffy pries himself from the skewer and plummets down to earth. As he falls, he manages to stretch and grab a hold of the small cloud Nami landed on. Quickly telling her to move out of the way, he propels himself back up towards the Arc Maximum and Kami Emeru using a Gum Gum rocket. The Shandians and Sky People pray for a miracle as Luffy lines up his finishing move, the Gum Gum Golden Rifle. Launching the golden ball spinning fiercely towards his target, Eneru doesn't have time to dodge and takes the wrecking ball square in the face, sending him flying. The attack propels Eneru backwards directly into the golden bell as promised. Luffy yells, "Reach," hoping the sound will reach Mont Blanc Cricket as the golden bell rings out with a clang.
Yeah, so what'd you think of this one?
Bang!
Very satisfying KO.
Yeah.
It's cool when you can both finish off the villain and complete the thematic objective of the story in one punch. It's like not something you can do a whole lot often, unless like, if the main thing is just beat the villain. But if you have to both, I must save the princess and defeat the evil lord, it's like, well, usually you can't punch the evil lord and then also punch the princess to wake the princess up. But in this case, Luffy punched that princess and woke her up. Now, like, I could have used a better explanation for that, but I think we got the idea.
Get the point across.
Yeah. I just like that Luffy called his shot. Like, he calls it first time around. Doesn't quite work out as planned, but the second time he nails it.
Another asshole down.
Possibly one of the biggest.
Yeah, perhaps.
Definitely, for sure. I feel like we get a classic like Oda finishing move montage here with like the little flashbacks and kind of like everyone's reaction and like that great like full double page final like conclusive page at the end of this chapter, the big clang. So good. I feel like Oda's got this shit down to a science. It's just like he ties it up like really in like a really nice bow at the end. Like we kind of get
Yeah.
very satisfying attack, KO, but then we also get these like nice little sentimental snippets from everyone who's affected by that single blow that just happened, and like I said, like ties it up really nicely in a nice little bow at the end.
Yeah, all the pieces he was setting up throughout the arc, like and
Mhm.
how they, like we spent a lot of time with people that were non-Straw Hat people. So this I feel like really shows like this was a story about more than just the Straw Hats and it goes beyond them. So
Yeah.
that they're showing here like how this is resonating with a whole bunch of people and like how this is important. This is like their freedom. So Luffy does a lot more than just punches a bad guy. Like he's liberating a lot of people and saving a lot of people from destruction. So there's a lot
Mhm.
that was going on here. So yeah, I agree. I like the way that he intersperses like those moments and like the emotion behind Luffy's like the reason why he's fighting. Like it's really displayed very well here.
Yeah, his motives are clear. He's resolute in them. And I do think that the flashback that we got from majority of last volume really does kind of add to the first few scenes of this volume in the fight against Enru. Because it was like a very long-winded backstory, but I think in the end it was very beneficial to the storytelling.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, glad we got it.
Yeah, it does make this pay off a lot more.
Yeah.
And Sean, did you have something?
Yes, the moment when they pierce the clouds and like come out the other end or something is very cool visual. Yeah, the reach. Well, but it's beyond the reach page, and it's like El Dorado was in the sky, and then, but it's sort of the reach page. I don't know. Random thing it reminded me of is, any of you see the Matrix Revolutions, the third Matrix movie?
Yes.
It's one of the few I'll just like, those movies are actually pretty well. Okay, the most recent one was not, but the third one, there's a scene where Neo and Trinity finally in the real world break through the cloud line and they get close up to the sun, and it's this beautiful moment of like, holy shit, there's still maybe some life on this ruined, destructed Earth in its own way, and it's this gorgeous moment, and it kind of reminded me of this.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
I totally see that. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say like I feel like upon looking at it like the first time through, I feel like it wasn't 100% clear exactly what was happening here, but like you can see like the gold bits like smashing against the bell. But then like if you look above Maxim, you see like there's like a black line going across, which is actually Luffy's arm. It's just showing Luffy's. It does like a little dot, and then you see like the giant like stretch. So like at first, like I wasn't exactly connecting the dots. I went and I watched like this part in the anime to see like how they conveyed it, and I think it was a lot clearer because you can see it in color and everything. But going back and look at it, I'm like, okay, I can see now because it just took me like a little while to see that was Luffy's arm that was reaching to the bell because I knew that's what was happening because Andrew was hitting the bell, but I was like, where's Luffy's arm? We see him like punch through like, the top part of Maxim, destroying in the process.
Precision, the twofer.
Yeah.
What incredible aim. And it's safe to say on the left side, that left panel of the same page, that the shards around Kami Eneru are the golden ball that was attached to Luffy's arm exploding.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally got that fucker off. It was useful for a while, but it was also a huge pain in the ass.
Quick, pick up the pieces.
Yeah, Nami's like, okay, threats over. Can I care about treasure now again?
What'd you do with your bracelet?
Yeah, I do really like the moment in the fight where, well, first of all, I really like the form that Andrew takes when he does the 200 million volts Amaru.
Yeah.
He's got like the outstretched hand and like the big punch and like he looks really cool in that form. He just takes on like a giant like Raijin form.
Yeah. Looks like a real god now.
Yeah. But then I like how during the fight, Luffy like gets stabbed with a trident, and instead of like trying to like, so his arms are already backwards, but like instead of like giving up this this attack, he drops down. He makes like the calculated decision to jump off the trident and land. He catches the cloud, and then he stretches way down, and then he launches himself back up, and then hits Enru with that with the wind up from that attack. So I just thought that was like really cool the way that played out.
Yeah, and it looks cool the way it was drawn with him going like full stretch and then kind of spinning back up towards the Arc Maxim.
Yeah.
The way it drew it, it's like very clear what's going on, which is cool.
Yeah. Very satisfying conclusion to this fight.
Yeah, I love that moment right before Enru takes the hit. It's like that moment of like shock and realization. He's like, he's fast, and they see like the fist right in his face. So good.
Too fast for you, buddy.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on?
No, great chapter.
All right, moving on. Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 24, Moda's Letter. Moda's letter was directions to her farm where the Navy can buy milk.
Secret Navy documents.
Milk has to be code word for something else.
Right.
I love how seriously the captain guy is like looking like,
He looks unamused.
Would I like some yummy milk? I don't know.
But he's probably like so confused, like, why is Firefist Ace giving me this letter? Is it like a trap? Like, what is it? It's like a little like map showing where the farm would be.
It's pretty great.
Oh, and just real quick, the last one was obvious, but the chapter is called Love Song. So that's obviously another musical reference.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Oda's a fan of The Cure.
We got a couple more coming up too.
Yeah. That's what reminded me, because I was looking at the next chapter, which is also a musical term. So chapter 299, Fantasia. As the bell rings with Enru's defeat, Luffy shouts that he hopes that his friends below can hear the bell from the sky. Viper hopes Nolan's descendants hear it too. All the people in the sky are amazed by the beauty of the sound of the bell, including Nola. Down on Jaya, the Southbirds take flight as the Mountain Monkey Alliance listen in amazement at the sound of the bell. As Cricket listens, he also realizes that the giant shadow monsters that they have been seeing must have been people in the sky when the sun hit them just right, as they now see a giant shadow Luffy jumping in the sky. Cricket now knows the truth that the goal was in the sky all along, not in the sea. Nolan wasn't a liar after all. Cricket weeps tears of joy, relieved that his friends are okay. Back in Skypiea, the Golden Bell lands in the white sea as the Maxim begins to free fall along with Enru. After 400 years, the promise of the Golden Bell has been fulfilled. All right.
Yay!
Yeah, let's start with Sean on this one.
I mean, it's real touching. Like, it's exactly what we wanted to happen. Is basically, it's just good old weirdo head McDescendant Cricket and his monkey men, and like, yep, they fucking did it. I mean, that bell clangs the whole chapter. It's like clang, page 1, clang, clang, page 2, clang, clang, page 3, clang, clang. I could go on, but like, I love that the sound effect is in like every page. Like,
it's cool because it's like as it's falling, right? Like it's like falling and clanging.
That's true.
I love that.
Until it suddenly does hit, and then the clangs finally stop. But
yeah,
we heard it.
Touch.
We're good.
It's a nice touch.
Enru's going down with his ship.
Yeah, this is just like great, like you were saying, just like touching, falling, like really satisfying falling action from Oda. And I really loved the Shadow Giants like reference that we got a while ago being answered, and then we get a giant Luffy. I thought that was really well done. I'd almost forgotten about that.
Yeah, so looking back, when you first saw those like shadow things, did you have an idea like anything like that was happening? Okay.
No, I remember us talking about it because I was like, wow, they're even bigger than the giants that we
right?
just saw. That we, the giants, because this happened right after that chapter, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they're huge. But yeah, I think that was a great callback to that moment. I love seeing like the larger than life Luffy out there.
Of course, like in like
It's like a perfect
such a
little,
Luffy pose.
yeah,
Yep,
a
that's
perfect
him.
little final stamp. If there was any question, now there's no question.
Yeah, and it's also a great way to signal to them down below that they're okay because they helped them get up to the sky, so they could have been leading them to their death. They could have crashed like on the
Right.
knockup stream and been dead. So like they didn't know like what happened to them. So we can see here that thankfully they're okay.
Just one day, Cricket
I mean,
wakes up and sorry.
No, I was gonna say he may be falling to his death. Very excitedly. Who knows? Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
No, I was gonna say one day Cricket wakes up and one of his monkey men is like, we found some debris and some blood and like it looks like half of Usopp's jaw. Yeah, they're all fucking dead, boss. Well, shit.
Yeah, we found the ship. We found the ship. Oh no, we found the ship.
Oh no, we found the ship.
That's not the ship.
Oh, that's not good. Oh.
No. So they were fine. The Maxim, on the other hand, not so much.
Not so fine.
Not so fine.
Maybe they'll find that one in 200 years.
Thankfully, everything is falling on clouds, though. Like,
yeah, that comes in handy.
Yeah, falling from a high height is not a death sentence in clouds.
Yeah, so this is just kind of like a nice like chapter to kind of put things in a bow, wrap things up nicely. Where like we can take some time to touch base with the people back in Jaya, see their reactions, and then we get the people like on Skypiea being relieved. We have like a little flashback moment thinking of like Calgara, so we see like the statue of Calgara. So it's just a kind of like nice little like moments here to show that the promise has been fulfilled after all these years, after all this time. Finally, like they feel like that sense of accomplishment, and everybody just kind of feels like that weight lifted off them. Everybody's just kind of happy to be alive right now.
Yeah, so satisfying.
Because like everybody just stops what they're doing, even like the other Straw Hats just stop and they like listen to the bell. Any other thoughts?
Why is Luffy's shadow that wide? Or is like the perspective off?
I think it's just because of the shadow. Like I feel like it would just kind of distort like the proportions a little bit. Yeah, because
go ahead.
I was just gonna say because he does kind of like he's in the 2D plane compared to like the 3D world. So I see what Sean means, but yeah, I think it's just because he is like a shadow, and the shadow would be like perceived as being kind of flat.
Right. And it's cool, like when he starts falling, on the second page or the fourth page of this volume, there's like you can see the sun kind of like shining.
Yeah.
And he's striking that same exact pose. So like that's the pose he was striking, and the sun's kind of like shining.
Yeah, you can see exactly like at the moment where he was making the shadow.
Such a Luffy pose. He's holding his hat so it doesn't fall off, and he's got his arm up it like triumphantly as he's falling.
Yeah, just like kind of just shouting for joy.
It really does feel like he's like posing for like it's one of those like guys, let's like one of those ending shots to a movie. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
They cut to the live credits and so.
Yeah. It's like an 80s movie. All right, let's move on to Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 25. Successfully extracted information about Blackbeard. Ace's detour to help deliver Moto's letter paid off, as Ace was able to obtain details about Blackbeard. So maybe he found that on that secret intel ship.
Paid off. I love his ship.
It's more like a board than a ship almost.
True.
Or
But
But
so cool.
it is. I mean, it's undeniably cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
a
still love the way that he
massive
powers
surfboard.
it too. Like, because he's just kind of casually sitting there with one foot down, and that one
Yep.
foot is like turning to flames and powering like the jet in the back.
Yep.
So he's just kind of chilling there while just powering the the striker, which is the name of the ship.
Yeah, that's a nice touch because he's like, yeah, just so casual. Clearly something he does all the time and is super comfortable doing.
All right, chapter 300, Symphony. Now that the threat of Veneer has passed, the citizens of Skypiea make their way to Upper Yard and begin disembarking from their ships. Rocky reunites with Isa and returns her bag of farce to her. Chopper starts to tend to the wounds of his crewmates, but Usopp tells Chopper he should start with Wiper, as he's the most injured. The crew talks about how the Golden Bell is probably gone now, so they won't have anything to take back with them. The Shandians decide to round up Kami's vassals and send them adrift into the clouds. Meanwhile, someone pushes the Mary along using their dial-powered boat. Luffy, Nami, and Konis return with a large sack full of food they took from the Kami's part of the forest. Now that everyone is reunited, Zoro asks about Pagia. Konis begins to cry as they all sympathize with the loss of her father, one of them being Pagia himself. Wait, Pagia? He explains he managed to fall into the White Sea below. The others who had fled Angel Island managed to make their way back up using Milky Dials. Enru's former slaves have now also been reunited with their families. After his defeat, Enru was able to recover the Maxim and still has his sights set on Enlil's Vars. He begins his ascent towards the moon. As Wiper awakens in confusion, the chief tells him the time of fighting has passed. For the first time in 400 years, nobody wants to fight. He looks out to see the citizens of Angel Island and the Shandians dancing around a large bonfire. The Straw Hats join everyone and party into the night. All right.
A lot happened.
Yeah, let's start with Evan on this one.
Ooh, where to begin? First of all, Mr. Raccoon was a great callback. She called him Mr. Raccoon earlier. I think that was like not the first time that she called him Mr. Raccoon.
Possible.
Yeah, I think
it's like a common misconception for Chopper. Oh, it was a Gidatsu, I think. Was it Gidatsu that called him a raccoon?
I think he's definitely been called a raccoon prior. I don't remember who said it. But I also love Luffy's return with a giant bag of food, which is totally in character, but also like hilarious that he stopped to get food before like going to check on his crew members. He's got like a cooked fish in his hand, which would insinuate they like prepared food, and I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny, but also perfectly on brand for Luffy. Sorry, so much happened. The Pagaya reveal was hilarious and a relief because he was a great character. It seems like a lot of characters that were like most of the characters that were zapped survived. It seemed to just knock people out and not kill them.
Like, or anybody that has like a noble sacrifice in One Piece is just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the reveal of the endless Vars being the moon is absolutely hilarious. And also perfect because it literally is endless Vars.
Yeah. So I want to go into that a little bit more because in the past you had expressed that you felt like it was like a dumb motive.
Yeah.
Does this put things into a different perspective for you now or no?
It makes more sense because it's like an entire entity in itself. Like he'd be bringing his people to the moon where it's like entirely his domain. So yeah, it makes way more sense than what I was picturing in my head. I still think it's pretty pointless because, you know, like what are you gonna do on the moon? Like
we don't know.
Skypiea is way cooler.
But it's basically like the equivalent of like, the Straw Hats wanting to go to Skypiea. Because like we don't know what's up
that
there.
Is true.
We know, yeah, like it's an adventure. Let's go check it out. So Enru has his eyes like set on the moon. So he like how many people in One Piece like can say like, oh, let's go to the moon?
Yeah, that's a fair point. See how the Arc Maxim fares outside the Earth's atmosphere. But,
so presumably, like we can maybe assume that because he has the Logia powers, he can probably get up there. But I don't know about if anybody else is on the Maxim, if they would survive. So
True.
I don't think he would care either way because he only wants to go himself. But yeah, so I just think it gives like a little different context to what his ambitions were before and like the concept of endless forest. He could have gone down to the Blue Sea and just found like an island which is bigger, but no, he wants to go to entire like celestial body that like is just nothing but land.
Yeah, it is better than what I was picturing in my head.
Okay.
For sure. And the Nami comment happening right after that, I'm pretty sure Nami suggests to go back to the ship and like call it a night, and they're offended because they're like, no, we're gonna go party.
Oh,
Like,
I couldn't
how
quite
dare you.
read which dialogue bubble was over who there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, then in which case, yeah, failure of a human being.
Yeah.
That's the way I
He's
read
like,
it
let's
too.
call it a night, and they're like, no, we're gonna party. And then again, like
it's
you
a
said,
callback.
another absolute rager.
Yeah, that moment was
the
just a
bonfire.
callback to the previous bonfire about how like Nami was like ignorant about like no, like we make a bonfire now, like so it's kind of a callback to like Nami now just saying like what they want to do and they want to party.
No, right. I remember that now.
Yeah.
We get another epic rager, and the wolves show up. Like those wolves are always just showing up for all the late night bonfire dance parties. Love it.
Yeah, they just show up with their own kegs and stuff. Like, oh, let's go!
Yeah, right.
They're ready to
Party
party
wolves.
anytime.
Yeah, another feel good
Nice.
chapter.
I mean, okay, it's the one. Okay, no. Do I want to get in my rant, or do I want to get in my discussion, or do I want to? I don't know what I want to do here. It's not
Go
really a
wherever
rant.
wherever you want to go.
A lot more people should have died. It's silly. Like it's just like I'm fine. It was nothing. Yeah, okay. Like it was nothing. Okay, then what was the point of Eneru if it was nothing? Like it was just he just knocked me down. But I'm of two minds because I sure do think that Pagaya reveal is very funny and is very reminiscent of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where Indiana Jones goes off the cliff and like his dad and all the others are like looking down the cliff and like and he takes his hat off or something, and then Indy just walks up next to him and just starts looking down like, what are you guys looking at or something. It's great. So I was like, shit, okay, that is funny. But I'm not saying Pagaya needed to die, but did like anybody die as a result of Eneru's like big blast thing? And the answer appears to be no. And that's nonsense. Like, I'm sorry, Oda, but come on, man.
If for as powerful as Enru is, casually a zero.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is something.
Cut to like lightning bolts, like the sky is falling, like Earth is exploding, and it's like no one was killed in the making of this video.
It's like God. Remember did you watch the? Do you know the Dragon Ball Z helicopter thing, Evan?
Mm-mm.
There's in Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta in the Saiyan Saga when he first lands, or Nappa. There's like a helicopter in the sky or something, like a news helicopter. Like these two people are like, and Nappa just like raises his hand and he shoots like a blast at the helicopter and it fucking explodes. And in the original, he explodes it. The people on board are dead. In the original dub, they're like, we can't have people dying like that. Censors. So they inserted a line where Tien says, look, they've got their parachutes. And it's just hilarious. Like the most like, come on.
Right. Sorry for kids. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do think people not dying in these types of situations, I think it's a valid criticism. But for me personally, I don't think it takes away from the story, but it does kind of start to feel a little like pulling like the rug from underneath you. It's like, you fooled me once, all right, shame on me. Fool me twice, you can't get fooled again. So it's like how many times is Oda gonna do this trick where it seems like somebody sacrificed themselves and they end up being fine by the end of the arc?
Yeah, it just lowers the stakes a bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. It does make it feel like the stakes feel really high, but then it does seem like there's no consequences at the end.
The consequences. That's a better point.
But overall, I don't think it detracts from the story. Like, it's not that significant in the end. Like, does Pagaya like surviving here really like make the story bad? No, it's like a very minor beat, and keeping the characters around, I think it's a fun thing. Like the more characters you have to play with, like the better. But yeah, I just feel like it's like a technique or a tactic that he's been using in the stories where it can start to feel a little like predictable. So that's something I feel like Oda tries not to do, is be too predictable. But this in this one case, I feel like it does start to become like you expect it to be the case. But yeah, we'll see. There's a lot more story to go.
A lot more story to go.
And speaking about the musical titles here, this one I feel like is pretty on the nose. Is Symphony. So the way I'm interpreting this one is like it's like a large group of people like working together to create like a harmony. So like there's like a lot of unity here, and there's like it's like the Sky People, like from Angel Island, and the Shandians working together, and like instead of fighting each other and like fighting over the land, they're kind of like, let's just party and we're gonna have a good time now.
Yeah, I'm digging the references. They've been fun.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this one?
I think I'm good.
You good, Sean?
I'm good.
Okay, let's move on. Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 26. The Navy galley vessel comes to buy some milk. The Navy decides to take up Moto's offer and arrive at her farm to buy milk. All right, so I guess Komil was really serious about getting that milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty convincing letter.
Get that cheddar. Oh wait, you can get that too. It's a farm. Don't worry. I love the killer whale and the dolphin. Just like, hey, how's it going? Because that's how killer whales and dolphins act in real life. Yeah.
And they're best friends.
Dolphins notoriously known to be friendly and kind and sweet to other animals.
And before we actually move into the chapter, there's the SPS question. We mentioned this before in Volume 23 during the bath scene in Alabasta. How it seemed weird that some people were peeking into the bath.
Oh, this is where he answers that. I didn't even read this shit. I gotta read this.
Yeah.
They all went to peep because they're all healthy and male. I don't think there needs to be another reason, but Chopper probably only went because everybody else was going. Anyway, if a cute girl is showing some skin, I think it's pretty rude to the girl not to even... Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't like that answer one bit.
Yeah, and then he ends it. Yeah, Sanji says it's way rude.
Yeah, I guess the joke is that it's Sanji saying that. I don't know. I'm gonna pass. I'm not gonna comment. I've got stuff.
Seem like a serious answer.
I hope so. I hope it wasn't, but yeah. I've got things to say on that when we get to some later arcs, but we're not there yet, so let's just keep going.
Yeah, just wanted to point out that we had mentioned this before, and this is where somebody actually asked about it. Okay, so let's get Evan's summary for the next chapter.
This is kind of a long one. There's a lot going on. All right, chapter 301. I hereby guide. As the people of Skypiea sleep, our greedy pirate captain devises a plan to steal the gold and run. As morning breaks, the Shandians locate the Golden Bell. Usopp trades his incredibly rare and immeasurably powerful rubber bands of doom for some dials he plans to use creating his famous doohickeys. Luffy leads Nami, Sanji, and Chop into a familiar-looking cave where they find some treasures. Robin makes her way to the Golden Bell to find a poneglyph at its base. She reads its ancient text to find it holds a secret location of another powerful weapon, similar to the poneglyph in Alabasta. Robin is dismayed, as this isn't the information she has been searching for, and begins to walk away when she notices something peculiar. In the same language as the poneglyph, there is a separate inscription reading, I hereby guide this document to its end, and it's signed by none other than Gold Roger himself. Gamfor overhears Robin's translation and recognizes the name, remembering Gold Roger's visit to Skypiea over 20 years ago. He mentions that Luffy reminds him of Gold Roger, then Robin tells him Luffy's full name, which shocks him as he notices their use of the initial D. The chief also hears Robin's translation, and with great relief can conclude that his ancestors' wish, and the poneglyph's purpose have been fulfilled and is no longer in need of protection. The Shandians went to thank the Straw Hats for all they've done, and remembering the Blue Sea people value gold, they decide to gift them a massive gold pillar. When the Straw Hats see Robin returning, Luffy yells for her to hurry up before they get caught. The Shandians ask them to wait. The Straw Hats mistake their pillar for a cannon, and instead of explaining, Robin smiles and runs off with her crew. Robin mulls over the cryptic message left by Gold Roger. There are several poneglyphs that hold information scattered throughout the world, which together create a single text that fills in the blank history. She now believes Gold Roger was successful in doing so, and that she too must guide the poneglyph documents to the end of the Grand Line, to Raftel, to bring the poneglyphs together into one piece. See what I did there? Threw out a little prediction as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Bold move.
Bold move.
Yeah, so a lot to digest in this one.
A lot. Yeah, sorry that was a long-winded explanation, but
no, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's some serious info drops in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, who wants to start off on this one here?
I want to start with Evan. What do you think about that little autograph left behind by a certain Mr. Roger?
It's super interesting, all of the poneglyph information that we get in this chapter. And yeah, this is our first I guess indirect interaction with Gold Roger since the very beginning, pretty much. Like, we had his initial announcement, but since then we haven't really had a lot of like direct, connection with him until now. And it's interesting that Robin puts it together like right away. And also like her showing interest in Luffy. She kind of mentions that in this chapter as well. Like when Ganfor is like, oh yeah, he really reminds me of Gold Roger. Like they have like the same vibe. And she's like, yeah, I'm interested as well. And I kind of gave a description in the summary how like all the poneglyphs are connected into like a single text that is supposed to cover this blank history, which we don't really know much about, other than we don't know much about it. But it seems to be an important gap in history that is not recorded. I don't know. It got me thinking. Like, I definitely thought that. So the fact that this proves that Gold Roger has taken information from multiple poneglyphs to the end of the Grand Line, which is Raftel, and I don't know. I mean, it seems like all the poneglyphs are supposed to be put together into one piece, and he says, the one piece can be found at the end of the Grand Line, which would be Raftel. I don't know. It felt like a lot of things fell into place for me. I don't know if that's just like conjecture, but it seems to be tied to the One Piece, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know. That could just be like complete conjecture, but like I think this through line has been something that we've had for a while. Where I feel like we don't have a lot of other through lines. Like we have all of our characters who have their dream that they want to fulfill and are working towards that goal, and they're all fulfilling their dreams. But I do think that Robin's story is incredibly important and is kind of like the one solid through line that we have where we're slowly putting pieces of a puzzle together. And I think we get a bunch of puzzle pieces in this chapter. It just made me really curious because like she's the only one who we know that can read these things. Like everywhere that we go and we see a poneglyph, no one knows how to read it. Even the people that have been guarding it for hundreds and hundreds of years, like none of them know how to read it. But then Robin just kind of like shows up and is able to read it all. Just adds a lot of mystery to her character and her motives. But it does also seem like she's truly seeking knowledge and not power, because she kind of dismisses the mention of the ancient weapons, kind of disregards that. It's like, I was hoping to get more information that would lead me to, I I don't know if she already knew that they were all. She already knew that they're all connected. So I guess she knew that this was the end goal, was to like piece them all together. And she gives a brief explanation saying there are two types of poneglyphs: one that have information on them, and others that just point you in the direction of other poneglyphs.
Yeah.
And she said this was one that had information.
Yeah,
a lot
I
to
do think
digest.
the like the information here is a little confusing and a little unclear exactly what they're trying to tell you. But I
Mhm.
think the overall takeaway is that there are certain poneglyphs that have information, and when you gather that information like all together, supposedly, like it's going to lead to something at the end of the Grand Line. So they need to carry that information with them along the way because it's going to be relevant to the information that they're finding on the poneglyphs. So I think the information on the poneglyphs are going to be connected in that way. So I think there's some kind of details that you won't know until you have all those pieces and you can put them all together at the end.
Right. Interesting
I don't want to
stuff.
say how much. It's cool conjecture, is all I'll say. You are thinking like a One Piece fan. You really
All
are.
right, cool. Because it definitely like sparked a light went off. I feel like for me, because like I said, this is kind of our first mention of Gold Roger, a direct reference to Gold Roger. And these poneglyphs have been like a through story more so than many other plots that we've had so far. So I'm super intrigued. I thought this was a really exciting chapter for those reasons.
Yeah,
Agreed.
But also, so like it still is directions to a ancient weapon, right?
So yeah,
Or
so
is the ancient weapon like knowledge? Like I thought, I was picturing more of like a physical, like literal weapon. Like
Robin
what?
says that the poneglyph on the Golden Bell area that specifically mentioned the location of the ancient weapon Poseidon. So
Poseidon, right?
Pluton was the one that was mentioned in Alabasta, which is what Crocodile was looking for, and Poseidon is now the other one being mentioned here. But then
Gotcha.
there was another bit of text that was written by Gold Roger, presumably, that mentioned that he said like Gold Roger was here, essentially. So he kind of like marked his like
Been there,
his
done that.
presence. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says here specifically like he's saying like I hereby like guide this document. So like Robin's like piecing together that like she needs to use this information along the Grand Line, like, together with the other poneglyphs to create this this like document.
Gotcha. But does it still share the location of an ancient weapon as well, or are those
Yeah,
the
so
same thing?
Robin does say it confirms the location of Poseidon.
Okay, so that I read that, and then the chief's like, "All right, great. We don't like this poneglyph has been fulfilled, so we no longer have to protect it." I'm like, but it also does still have like the location of a secret weapon that you probably don't want anyone just getting their hands on. So like you might still want to protect that.
Well, only Robin knows what it says.
True, I'm just saying like
Nobody else can
that's
figure out
true.
what this
She
says.
didn't disclose that with people.
Yeah, even like Calgara and his people back then didn't know what it said. They just knew that they had to protect it because their ancestors
Right,
400
that's
years
right.
prior died protecting it, or they fought to protect it at the city.
This is juicy stuff.
And Sean, did you want to hop in here?
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is we are dropping some. So there's a common thought that like Skypiea feels disconnected from the rest of One Piece in a way, and I think because I mean it literally is. It's an island thing in the sky, and Eneru is technically, in theory, now like if Luffy and the rest of the crew was like, fuck it, we're leaving, and Eneru was allowed to continue to do whatever he wanted unabated. Well, first of all, we know he wouldn't actually kill anyone, as we've, but like technically nothing would change. He goes to the moon and he sits on the moon, and like nothing below is affected. But there are telltale things here that are connecting this world with the east, the the Great Blue Below, or
Blue
whatever,
Sea, yeah.
the Blue Sea Below, and this is a huge one of them. Just the fact that Roger apparently visited is massive. And like, does anyone know this? Does anyone below know this? Does the government realize? Like, you'd think if the government knew, I'm this is me speaking as both a fan knowing more and not knowing more or whatever, but I would assume they don't, because they would have absolutely gone to Skypiea to be like, hey, holy shit, Roger's here, the most wanted man in the world, the king of the pirates. Like, we got to figure out what the hell's going on. So this is earth-shattering news. So it's gonna be more important in the future, and it's why I don't think Skypiea can be skipped, like many people think.
And to that point, I feel like that's why Robin was so stoked. Like there's a moment where Robin's really let down because she thought this was like it. She thought this was like the poneglyph with the information that she's been looking for specifically, which I feel like makes sense because it's like so far removed and so untouched. Like it's the most seemingly like the most isolated situation that we've come across so far, which I feel like for her probably had a lot of like architecturally she was like, this could be it. Like this is like super ancient, unseen by probably most people in the Blue Sea, and was pretty let down when it wasn't exactly what she was looking for.
I get the sense that it's not common knowledge that Skypiea exists. So I don't know who knows that Skypiea is real, but I'm gonna guess it's probably not many people, if any, down in the Blue Sea. Like I think it's probably very possible that nobody else knows that it exists. But I don't know. But I do think it's fun because earlier in the arc for Skypiea, Gunport did mention that he had met a pirate crew previously. He made friends with them. So now we know that the crew that he had met was Roger's crew. So he had met Roger previously. But that was alluded to earlier in the arc, but we didn't get confirmation it was Roger's crew. And I do think Robin's comment is interesting because she says that she does find Luffy interesting and expects that he'll make a mark on history. So Robin sees something in Luffy, which I think does maybe give a better indication why somebody like her would have like tagged along with Luffy's crew, and why she's found Luffy very amusing from like the start. So I think like she sees that Luffy has potential to be historically significant. So she has an interest in history in general. So I think somebody like Luffy, who she believes is going to be important for history, to basically be part of that history, I think for her, she just finds that fascinating. And I think that's the motivation for her to be like with Luffy on his crew.
Totally.
Agreed.
And I think it's like the first time where the Strats actually kind of like do something like really piratey, and they try to steal treasure.
Yes. Actually acting like pirates. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Like
I love that. And I love that Luffy initiated it. Yeah. I love that it was Luffy's idea too.
Yeah, so I think
not Nami's idea, Luffy's idea.
Yeah. So for Luffy, I think he didn't see any harm in it because nobody owns it because it was in the snake. Right. So like I think he's like, this is like, you know, nobody knows about it, so we can sneak off with it. You know, it's gonna be our little secret. Right. Instead of like giving it to the people, like he's gonna be selfish about it. But he's not like trying to take the treasure from people like who it's rightfully theirs. Like he's like, this can be like for us, you know. So I do like the whole like way that it plays out, where they try to do that something piratey when like the people are going to give them gold anyway. Which I don't know how they would feasibly even bring that giant beam down on the ship.
It looks impossible.
But it's just like really funny how like like, oh no, we gotta run, and then Robin doesn't even like try to stop and explain. Wait, no, this goes for us. We can take this too. She just kind of laughs it off. She's like, well, I guess we don't want it. Which is, I think that's so great. I love that. Yeah, so I love how Robin handles it that way.
Yep.
She's just kind of playing along with everything, you know.
That was so great. Yeah, she really is. She really goes with the flow, you know. Like she's present, but she's not always very involved, you know. Like she's there, but she's usually kind of quietly observing, you know, instead of actively participating. Yeah. I mean, she participates when she has to, but I feel like that's her general vibe.
Yeah, I think she just generally like enjoys kind of like people watching and like seeing people like have fun. I think she finds entertainment in the way that like her friends act.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that she generally likes to, like you said, just kind of observe. Yeah. So is there anything else on this chapter you wanted to touch upon?
We're in it now.
We're in it. I have my first One Piece prediction.
Well done. There's many more to come.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm kind of like one of those people who doesn't like to like make predictions or theories. Like I just kind of go with the flow. I like to be
Mhm.
surprised. I kind of don't always like I like to take the information that we have and read into it, but like, I don't typically try to look ahead. I usually just kind of look in what we currently have to deal with, and I try not to speculate too much because I think it's more fun to not be correct when you get something. But some people I think just really go down the rabbit hole and they love like they're predicting for One Piece, which is so bad because there's a lot of like deep like material to mine from One Piece. That's like something I
Mhm.
like definitely makes sense for people to enjoy doing. I just personally don't do a lot of theory crafting like myself. I don't think I'm smart enough to really like predict a lot of these things. So I just kind of like go through and I just kind of enjoy the ride as it comes, But
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I'm not trying to make a like concrete prediction. I just feel like I just had like there was like a little aha moment
yeah,
when I read through that. I was like, oh, maybe this could be that because it is like all of these pieces of information coming together in a singular place that is associated with Gold Roger in a way, and now his stamp or his seal has been like also incorporated into that kind of
yeah,
general idea.
very valid.
But who knows? It could be disproven in the next volume. I have no idea.
All right. Well, for right now, let's move on to Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 27. The Navy cooks from the Gateway vessel were Moda's parents. Moda is able to see her parents.
Woo!
Yay!
That was the real reason for the letter.
So that's a cute little interaction here.
Adorable. Also, leads me to ask why her parents are why they're separated.
Hmm.
You got to pay the bills.
I guess so.
They got to work on the marine ship.
So they leave her. Yeah, I guess so.
All right, let's move right along to chapter 302, finale. The people of Skypiea are disappointed that their Blue Sea saviors left in a hurry before they had a chance to express their gratitude. Rocky gives Isa a new haircut that looks an awful lot like a certain Gum Gum man's. Viper and the Chandians look on at the statue of Kalgra, saying the promise has been fulfilled. There is no need for any further bloodshed. They will continue to honor the light of Shandora. The chief of the Chandians meets with Gonfor, along with the rest of their people. They decide that Gonfor should be the one to lead them all, and they will all share their land together now that both of their homes have been destroyed. Gonfor reluctantly agrees to lead and hopes to be able to unite their people. As the Straw Hats reach Cloud's End and try to decide how they each want to spend their gold, they realize how much they will miss Sky Island. Konos and Pagia escort them and bid them farewell. Suddenly, the Mary drops off the side of the island into midair. Konos uses a whistle to call the Octo Balloon, catching the Mary and inflating so the ship gently floats down. As they descend, they hear the sound of the Golden Bell once more as the people of Skypiea say goodbye and thank you. And we get our final musical term for Skypiea. We get a finale.
Finale.
Perfect.
All right, let's start
I
with
didn't
Sean on
pick
this
up.
one.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean it's a very sweet send off. Feels kind of almost like the second send off at this point. Like, not that they're we're tying up more loose ends on the like what's gonna happen with Skypiea now, where it's gonna go. I wasn't a huge fan of that little conversation that Isa and Rocky have. I feel like they're trying to thread a delicate needle here of like, or Oda. not optimistic, I guess I don't know. Part of me that's trying to be like, okay, it's them being like, nobody should fight anymore. Nobody needs to fight anymore. We're in an age of peace. Like we've done enough fighting. Where you're trying not to be like, Rocky, don't pull this like, we're girls, we don't need to fight any longer. The days of fighting are over for girls. It's, that's not great. But I don't think Isa's really buying into that, and she wants to have the Luffy haircut rather than the long haircut anyways. So that's what I'm going to take that as. And she said she wants to be like him when he grows up. So that's what I'm going to choose that to be. I kind of wish Rocky was a bit more, but whatever, it is what it is. I much enjoyed, though. Again, I still, my God, how many bandages do you need to have to be like, you might as well be dead, like Wiper? Like it's just like he's just bandage cosplaying. Like he's just cosplaying a mummy right now. Like it's just again, it's weird. I've always been a fan of Ganfor, so I'm glad to see them being like, nah, dude, it's okay. Like you can be the new leader again. And he's like, I just want to make fucking pumpkin juice, but all right, fine. I guess I'll be your goddamn fucking king. I just want to be an old man. I just want my Metamucil pumpkin juice. All right. But I'm happy for him, so that's nice. Man, the crew's finally got some cash.
Right.
About time.
friggin' Chopper, please buy me books. Can I get a fridge
with a lock on it?
And
Very
what
important.
is and
With
what is
a
Zoro,
lock.
what does Zoro want?
Booze.
Booze. I love Luffy's vision. If you see the little bubble, his little thought bubble, it almost looks like a bronze Richie on the front of the merry-go.
Yeah, he has to put the statue like on top of the merry-go at the very front.
So good.
It's like blocking the Jolly Roger now too.
Please buy me books. Hey, what happened to the old lady? The old lady person, the one who was like the camera lady.
Yeah,
She's on the other end.
She is? Did we see her and I missed it or something? Oh, she's on the other end? Okay, yeah, but
she's in a different place, right?
I think so.
A different exit, or
this is the prime. Yeah, probably. Okay, I honestly don't know, but
I'm gonna assume that Gonfor was like, we're gonna waive their fees.
Yeah.
I think we can make an exception for the saviors. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love
you don't have to pay on your way out,
I love when everyone falls, all of their eyeballs fall out with them.
Yeah.
Including the merry-go.
The
Did you notice
too.
that?
The merry-go's eyeballs.
The merry-go's jaw drops.
Yeah, that was in my notes.
That's probably that was probably my favorite part of the whole chapter. That was so good.
That's a great drop.
But
then there's just a giant octopus that catches them. So sure. I mean, I'm cool with that.
This just feels like another one of those kind of like fantastical things that just like feels like it's part of like the One Piece world, and you just kind of accept it.
Totally.
Yep.
Loved it.
And they ring the bell again.
Yeah, it's like such a One Piece way to like get back down from the sky, which is a compliment.
Yes. Yeah. Super fun. It's like a perfect octopus hot air balloon.
Yeah, so I mean, we get a happy ending to Skypiea. Like they weren't all wiped out, and even though their homeland is gone now, they have all come to like agreement that they can live in peace on the Vars and the Upper Yard. So it's everybody's land. So they're not fighting over it anymore. Everybody's realized that it's not worth it. They can share it. There's enough land for everybody. So they find a nice peaceful resolution. All it took was for a crazy god to like wipe out the land, but they got there. To teach their own.
A steep price to pay.
Yeah. How about you, Evan? Anything else on this one?
Nothing. That just about sums it up for me. Like I said, I really love the panel when they're all saying what they want to do with their money. I thought that was like a singular perfect, like such a perfect panel. And I love how
Yeah.
they all are asking Nami for permission. Nami's like
she's like their
clearly
accountant.
the treasurer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great use of space too. How like Oda takes like that one panel but makes it big enough to like get that information out. Doesn't spend a lot of
Yep.
time on it. Yeah, so I think Oda does like a really good job of being able to give everybody kind of like their little moment. Like can really flesh out these characters, and like these are all things that feel like in line with the characters that we know. So like, I feel like these are just like really nice moments that Oda uses to kind of flesh out these characters, a little bit further.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, so that's going to wrap up Skypiea.
Home to the Blue Sea.
So let's move on to Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard Volume 28. Coffee with milk makes for happy meetings. Now that the Navy base has milk, they don't have to drink bitter coffee anymore.
Yay!
Yay!
There we go.
James
That's why
Hoffman
we
would
had
have
so much time on the coffee.
Finally. Yeah. Just needed some milk.
Yeah. Must be some good milk. And it looks like they even put the picture like and the letter up on the wall.
Yep.
Yeah, so a happy ending there too for the Navy
All right.
part. Okay, moving on. Chapter 303, The Wealthy Pirate Gang. Upon learning that El Dorado was in the sky, Cricket tells his friends that this is the end of their adventure to find the lost city of gold. After a heartfelt moment, he announces it's time for them to start their adventure anew. Over in Mocktown, it appears that Bellamy and Sarkis are fighting. As the crew beg Sarkis to stop, to everyone's confusion, he begs for someone to stop as well. It turns out to be the handiwork of Don Quixote Doflamingo, as he forces the crew to fight themselves using his mysterious powers as punishment for disgracing his flag. Bellamy begs for another chance, but Doflamingo doesn't have a use for weaklings in his crew. As he has Sarkis slash at Bellamy one more time, Doflamingo declares it is time for the age of pirates with real power. Now back in the Blue Sea, the Mary safely lands back in the water. The octoballoon has now shrunk down to the size of a regular octopus. The crew thinks about the amazing journey they just went on as if it was just a dream. Nami doesn't miss a beat and has the crew get ready to sail on to the next island. As they travel, Luffy attempts to ride the waiver on the Blue Sea, but doesn't have any better luck. On the other hand, Nami is still a pro even on these waters. They gather inside the ship and prepare to divvy out the gold they took back with them. Nami tells them that they should put most of the gold back into maintenance for the Mary, which the crew all agree to. Luffy also notes that they should add a carpenter to their crew. Elsewhere at Navy HQ, the 5 elders wonder where Admiral Aokiji has gone. They call him the greatest power in the Navy. At this time, Aokiji happens to be riding his bike along the sea as he looks at Luffy's wanted poster.
Not ominous at all.
Along the sea or on the sea?
Both.
He's riding the bike on the sea, right?
I don't
literally
know.
It
Maybe.
looks kind of like he's
maybe
literally riding
no,
right on the water.
No, I mean I'm sure there's something. We'll see.
Why not both?
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, so let's start with Evan on this one because I think there's also some interesting things that he probably hasn't seen before here.
Yeah, so Doflamingo, we only got like a little snippet at a Navy meeting.
Yeah, it was at the 7
it was like
warlords,
a warlords meeting.
yeah, with the Navy.
And so we see him kind of like goofing around with his abilities, but we don't actually get to see them in practice like we do here, where he's got 2 comrades fighting each other to the death. So I feel like here we get like a real taste of how powerful he really is. I mean, he's a warlord, so we obviously know he's powerful, but like we actually get to see like his ability a little more clearly.
Yeah, so like Bellamy was this like big shot pirate like over here, and we see like Doflamingo's just like toying with him. Like yeah, so, he just.
But
like,
it's cool. It looks
here.
like it's cool. It looks like he's using his hand almost like a mannequin doll, kind of, or like in Naruto if you see like the puppy wielders. It looks kind of like that, which is cool. a cool like artistic choice. What else?
Yeah. So did you notice that the mark of Bellamy that we had seen before was actually Doflamingo's mark?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because they left the mark
Where did
over
I see that
at
before?
Cricket. They put it on the tree. That's how they knew that like Bellamy was there. So yeah, that was actually Doflamingo's mark. So Bellamy is like his crew is under Doflamingo's crew. So Doflamingo's kind of like, we're gonna take you under our wing. We're gonna put you like in my pirate crew, like my fleet, and you're gonna represent me. But Bellamy has let Doflamingo down. Like he sees that like he was a failure, and yeah, he doesn't deserve to be on his crew. So essentially, he's like, yeah, you lost your chance. Like I'm revoking like your privileges here. So as punishment, he just shows up and just plays around with the crew and makes them attack each other, and like disgraces Bellamy.
Gross.
Cool. I feel like we're getting a new warlord right after the arc, so this might be foreshadowing of our next villain arc, maybe.
Perhaps so.
Perhaps. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, this it's a cool little like, okay. I liked a little bit at the start with Cricket. Once again, like, okay, we're happy. We're very happy with the bell, but now we gotta go do something new cool. Let's do some really cool thing. Woo-hoo. We'll follow you anywhere, boss. You're the best, boss. Man, Doflamingo. I love him. I love his giant feather fucking boa coat. His weird hairy legs, which, like, okay, I don't know. My legs are hairy too. I don't shave my legs, but like, I feel like he should, if he's gonna sit like that and wear those pants all the time, and apparently have a personal cameraman who's just like focused straight up on them. I don't know. Well, what does he care, right? He's got the feather boa, he's got the sunglasses, he's got everything. There's a level of just like sadism here that we have not seen in quite some time. I feel like there's
just like needlessly cruel.
Just very much just like, lick my fucking boots, like, while I watch you bleed on the ground. Like, it is very weird. Like Enru was like way more theatrical. Well, no, the Doflamingo is pretty theatrical, but it was usually just like, I'm gonna kill you. He usually didn't like try to torture anybody too much. In this point, he's like, torture and beg for your life, and never mind, I'm still gonna just kill you.
Yeah, so he's toying with them.
Yeah,
it's fucked up.
The time has come when only pirates will survive. A new wave of unmatched power is coming. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, it looks like he's looking forward to what's going to happen.
Yeah, I will say there is one of the few times you'll ever hear me say this about any filler in anime ever. But Joel, have you watched the G8 arc?
I have. This is one I did watch. Yeah.
Yes. So in One Piece, there is a filler in the anime. There was a filler arc. Are you familiar with filler, Evan? Like,
yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it's not canon, but man, I wish it was, because it's awesome. It's one of the few times a filler arc is actually, I think, really cool, and it takes place, I don't know, but I recommend it if y'all want extra like, if anyone wants extra. I think it's a really cool little arc that they have where they land in this like this Navy base that's like encircled from the octopus, and the crew has to like pretend to be cooks, and it's really cool. But otherwise, nope, we don't have that in the manga. They just land in the middle of nowhere. And Luffy is still terrible at the waiver, but Nami is still absolutely kicking ass, and that's pretty great. I love she's just got a shirt that says gold now.
Yeah. First purchase.
Yeah.
Wait, so back to the filler thing. Is filler not?
Oh, sorry.
Is filler not canon?
Filler is not canon.
Right.
It is not written by Oda.
Filler is not canon.
It is written by the anime production team or whoever.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So the GA arc, I think, is known as like one of the best filler arcs in One Piece. like I don't think it's like super amazing compared to like anything else in One Piece, but it is like a fun.
I would consider it better than at least 1 or 2 arcs in canon One Piece, but we'll get there. We're not there yet.
Yeah, so it's like
We're almost there.
it's enjoyable. Yeah, it's fun, but not super important because again, by nature, it can't do anything that's going to contradict.
It's the main problem with filler is that you can't really, but you can't change the characters in any significant way. But the characters they introduce in it are cool. But yes, moving on. It's a good chapter. It's a good little setup. I love Nami. Yeah, I'm 80% of my secret stash. I'm just kidding, guys. As if you could have a secret stash in this clunker of a ship. Yeah, Marigo is still taking damage. Not great. It's really barely hanging on. But I guess even Usopp's patchwork repairs can only go so far. I'm a sniper, not a handyman.
Yeah, I like how Chopper is surprised that there are people who can fix stuff better than Usopp.
Really? There's somebody even better at fixing things than Usopp? We got another visit from the Five Elders. He's at it again, He's probably just sightseeing. Why won't he take his rank seriously? We can't have him moving around willy-nilly. Admiral Aokiji is the greatest power of the Navy!
Yeah, so Evan, do you want to hop in there?
Nothing in particular. I feel like there's just like a bunch of foreshadowing happening in this chapter. With the carpenter mention. But he does mention, come to think of it, we could also use a magician. Or sorry, a musician. A musician,
yeah.
My
magician
mistake.
would be cool too, but yeah, musician.
A magician. Yeah, what's Django up to these days? Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited for what is to come.
Yeah, so now it seems like there's an admiral that like Luffy's caught his attention. So we know exactly why he's trying to find Luffy, but he has his poster, and he seems interested in finding Luffy.
Oh, and he also says not an honest fellow in the whole family. Which feels like a clue.
Perhaps so.
Yeah, no, I also
it's got Luffy's full name on that poster.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention here that the name Aokiji is actually like a code name. So there's like a code name for the admirals, which we'll see more in the future. But they typically will use like a color and an animal. So Aokiji would translate to blue pheasant. So just like a little tidbit here.
I appreciate that he apologizes to the dolphin. I don't know for what.
Maybe for like almost running them over.
But he's on the island, Joel. He's not riding on the water, right?
Oh,
there's no way he could do that.
Yeah. Sure looks like it.
Yeah, and just like another fun little detail that Usopp has a collection of dials now.
Oh, yes.
So he brought them back from Skypiea.
He even has a little sign that says Usopp's Workshop. Open for business.
Tinkering. Yeah. But he does note that the Milky Dial doesn't work here. So the other dials do, but the Milky Dial doesn't. Which Robin suspects is only because it would have to work like in the environment where the air is right. So the air down here wouldn't be able to make the Milky Day clouds.
Bummer. That'd have been a cool one, especially with Nami's waiver.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
That's about it, I think.
Okay. And yeah, I didn't prepare anything for this Straw Hat Theater. There's like a little tiny like section here. It's not really relevant. It's just like a fun little like 2-page thing.
It's fun though.
Yeah,
I like that we get the color on the back.
It is really cool looking in color. That the color page there.
Mm-hmm.
Very pretty. But let's move on to the next chapter.
Chapter 304, Long Island Adventure. You're gonna read this whole thing in a Long Island accent. I was kidding. Okay. Luffy, although looking nearly identical to the sea monkeys, is unable to fool them. They see through his disguise and chase the merry-go, causing a large wave. As the crew scramble to evade, Usopp spots the enemy ship. Upon closer inspection, the crew seems to be in low spirits and entirely disorganized. It doesn't take long for the sea monkeys to overtake the enemy ship as the merry-go escapes. Robin then casually announces there's been an island in front of them for some time now. She's reprimanded by the captain for a lack of gusto as they approach the island. Usopp can't quite shake what he saw happen to the enemy ship. It simply doesn't add up. No captain, no navigator, no sails. What gives? Usopp has a bad feeling, but the rest of the crew pays it no mind. As they reach the shoreline, they see the most incredible nothing. There's nothing in sight but endless prairie, speckled with tall, thin trees. Luffy wastes no time, beginning to explore the island, taking Usopp and Chop with him. They immediately begin to see a trend. Everything is, as Usopp puts it, long. Long lions, long tigers, long bears. They spot a house and decide to check it out. Here they meet a long horse named Cherry. Chopper makes her acquaintance as Luffy and Usopp discover a bamboo shoot that reaches as far as the eye can see. Then, unexpectedly, the bamboo moves, jumping towards Luffy. It hits him right in the face. Taking this very personally, Luffy strikes back with a gum whip, snapping the bamboo in two. Suddenly, in a cloud of dust, a small, gnomish man appears where the bamboo had been. Luffy concludes this must be the spirit of the bamboo. Meanwhile, on the merry-go, the crew has been ambushed by a pirate ship declaring themselves to be the Foxy Pirates. They pin the ship to the shoreline using claw-shaped anchors and demand a duel.
All right.
Already on to the next island.
Sean, we lost your audio.
Sorry, I said unfortunately, yes, we are on to the next island.
All right. All right, so who wants to start on this one?
Well, I love the first, like the very first shot of this chapter with Luffy trying to mimic the sea monkeys, which clearly didn't work out. But he does make a pretty good sea monkey.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty hilarious. And then we get this really cool ship at the end of the chapter after all the weirdness of this island, which is like pretty goofy. I love how Chopper and Usopp are like, it feels like we're getting longer just by looking at them, and then it has this like really funny drawing of them both kind of looking like super thin, long. Like it's really funny.
Yeah, they're really wonky looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Luffy's face does get big too. But like his is like less jarring because like he's stretchy normally, but his jaw is like really big. But then like Usopp has like a really long face, like a horse face, and like Chopper's got like this really goofy face.
Yeah. But then on the next page too, when they're like walking by the house, they're still like feel like they're still feel like that.
They just took a visit to Amigara Fault.
Ooh yeah.
This hole was just for them.
This is my hole.
This is his hole.
It's made for me.
Yeah, and then when they find Cherry, they call Cherry a giraffe. They say it's not a giraffe. It's just a horse, but it's long.
I love Chopper. Just, are you a horse? Hey.
The first bear they see looks kind of like the walking bear, but stretched out.
Yeah, I was getting the same kind of thing with the vibes, like the walking bear, just like casually walking by them, not like attacking them or anything. It's just like a bear, like
yep, casual bear.
Yeah. But this bear does make you laugh because like it's like so tall and like it's so silly looking, but like it's so great.
But not the first walking bear we've seen in this.
In
this series.
It is walking on two legs, and we see the song "Dog" as well. Almost like Luffy was like stretching like so far.
Yeah, Luffy's like, my people, it's my people.
He won't lose to bamboo.
No.
Look, I'm going to lose to bamboo.
Action shot for it too. I love that like wide shot of it right after he kicks it and his leg is still all extended.
Yeah.
It's a really cool shot. He won. He won the battle against Bamboo, and they celebrate like he just won an epic battle.
Well, he did get hit by the bamboo, so.
Gotta take your wins when you could get them.
Yeah. So how about you, Sean? What are your general impressions for?
I think the island concept is very funny. It's very back when Rick and Morty was good. Just like it's all in a cob. Everything's like it's this like just like the Long Island. Everything's long. I like it. It works. Yeah. It's about all I have to say at the moment. I like the I mean it's a comedy chapter, right? It's but it's a pretty damn solid one. Like he knows how to make the laughs. He knows okay, we're gonna have like a cool down bit of a comedy chapter here. I mean that shot of the bear is just it feels like a from Azumanga Daioh or something. It doesn't feel like One Piece almost, which is it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I think this was a fun introduction to this new location. Like we just came from somewhere that felt like drastically different. It's like from like one chapter to the next. It's like you never know what you're gonna find in the world of One Piece. So now we find this like wacky land where everything's like stretchy, like the trees are tall, the animals are long, like things aren't like the way you would expect them to be. So I think it's like a fun concept so far, and like the crew so far is having like a fun reaction to things as well, because like they're kind of going along, like they're going through it too, and we're kind of going along with them as they kind of explore. So they try to get their bearings of like what's going on here. This place is so weird and wacky. But then the Mary is trapped in by another pirate crew. So like earlier in the chapter, we had seen like another pirate crew that didn't really have their act together. They seemed like kind of like so disorganized, like what's going on. So we don't know what their deal was. So now we find this other pirate crew has trapped the Straw Hats here, and they challenge them to a duel. So this is basically setting up like what we're going to be going into. So I think this is a nice little setup for this next little section here.
Agreed. I love the look of the Foxy pirate ship and those like claw anchors they use to trap the Mary. Yeah. It's a big ship too. Like when you see it next to the Mary go. But just like fun design, and like the whole chapter is really like fun design. I think, you know, this is the world of One Piece, so it's like expect the unexpected, and I feel like with this super kind of off the wall, wacky kind of island, Oda kind of just like drives that point home. It's like, you know,
yeah,
it's still surprising.
Yeah, I just think it's also fun at the end too, where like when they knock over the bamboo, like there's like an old dude and they think like a spirit showed up.
Yeah.
Broken the bamboo, awakened his spirit.
Yeah, so that's all I have on this one.
Same.
All right, so let's wrap up the Ace cover story. Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard final volume, and the Name of Pirates. Ace continues his search for Blackbeard to bring him to justice for his crew. Yeah, so he's back on track.
Just a profile picture for Ace.
All right, and the final chapter of the volume, chapter 305, Foxy the Silver Fox. Luffy thinks he freed his spirit from the bamboo, but it's just some old guy named Tanji, who is stuck on his stilts for 10 years. They ask him why everything is so long here, but he doesn't really give a coherent explanation. He invites him into his house for some cheese. Usopp questions how safe it is to eat after 10 years, but Tanji insists it's fine. It's not fine, as he immediately keels over. Luckily, Chopper is here and determines that he has food poisoning. After recovering, Tanji explains the island is called Long Ring Long Land. It appears to be 10 islands, but it's just a giant ring where the tips stick out. Every year, the tide reveals a connecting path for a few hours that allows his nomadic tribe to travel to the next part of the island. His people move once every 3 years, but unfortunately he got stuck on the stilts, so nobody can find him, so they moved on without him. The only one who stayed behind was his faithful horse, Sherry. The two are overjoyed to be reunited. That joy is short-lived as Sherry is shot by someone. Captain of the Foxy Pirates, Foxy the Silver Fox, claims the horse belongs to him now. He expects Luffy to recognize his face, but to his dismay, Luffy has no idea who he is. Apparently, he knows who Luffy is, however, along with the bounty on his head. He challenges Luffy to a Davy back fight. Outraged by the attack on the horse, Luffy quickly accepts. Usopp seems to recall what a Davy back fight is, as he connects the dots as to why the pirates they saw earlier seem so disorganized. He warns Luffy that this is a duel that would cost him his companions.
Duel.
All right.
Sounds like a job for Zoro.
Yeah, so we go from like this it seemed like laid back, low key, like start to this new island. There was a lot going on, and now things just feel like they like escalated. Yeah, so who wants to start on this one?
Look, I'll start. I think the stuff with the old man with Tanjit is all really funny. It's good stuff. It's very classic gag manga in a lot of way. It's like this is very much Oda kind of like almost channeling like Dr. Slump and stuff like that. And it's solid and it's good, and it leads into a character that I do not care for. We're not there yet. I mean, we sort of are at the end of this, but like it's very I just it's great. It's funny, the stuff with the old man and the horse and long ring, long land. I think it's all just it's funny, but it's maybe too weird at times. I don't know. Could be just mixing things up with my distaste for the coming arc. But that's all I've got to really say about it. There's more to talk about another time.
All right, how about we go to Evan?
Yeah, Foxy has that like super villainous, like punchable face that we've been talking about with like Wapple and
I
the
mean,
king.
yes, he does.
It's got that. Yeah.
You don't think he's gonna make a nice pirate?
No, he just shot Sherry, the giraffe horse. I love seeing the shot of what's his name, Tunji,
Yeah.
riding Sherry, like this tiny squat little dude riding this like super long giraffe horse.
Yeah.
I love the look, and you even get to see in like one of the flashbacks. You kind of see like this whole village of all the tall horses that all look like Sherry.
Yeah.
It's just a cool little like tribe of people, nomadic, moving from island to island, I guess. I mean, it's all one island, but like one section to the others. It's a fun concept. Excited to see where it goes. Definitely feels like some comic relief after like our super intense conclusion of Skypiea.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the humor really hits for me in this chapter. Like a lot of it just like really works in my opinion. Like I cracked up about like the like the cheese thing in particular, like that whole interaction where like he offers him milk, but because it's been in the fridge for like 10 years, like it's not good anymore. So it's just like hard. So it's like cheese. But he decides, oh, it's probably fine to eat. And then,
cheese has just been aged for 10 years.
But like this feels like so wacky. He just seems to be like not really fully with it. Like yeah, so he like eats the cheese, like he like pass out, and then like Chopper diagnosed that it's food poisoning, and Usopp's just like obviously like he just ate bad cheese, like.
I love it, and this whole volume, Chopper's always been yelling like, "Doctor, we need a doctor," and he's still like is always having that realization that he is the doctor.
Yeah, doctor.
Oh,
wait,
right,
that's me.
It's kind of just like a running gag, yeah.
But yeah, like it seems like Tanji doesn't really have a good explanation why things are long. Like he starts like giving an explanation, but it's just kind of like a nonsense answer. So he doesn't really know. And then like he also got himself stuck in the situation where he was on the stilts for 10 years. Like he just got stuck up there, and apparently the bamboo kept growing somehow, and it just kept getting taller and taller, and he got stuck up there. So people left because they couldn't find him because he was on these bamboos.
This band
How
didn't
did he
grow after 5 years.
survive? What did
He
he
was
eat?
eating the fruit off the trees from the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because the trees also grow that tall.
Of course. He never thought to try to climb down.
He was scared.
I guess he was scared.
He's too scared. It's too tall.
Yeah.
But then the fact that like Sherry stayed behind, I found like really touching.
Very big Laboon energy.
Mm. So like a lot of these animals like tend to be like faithful to like their owners, so I think it's a touching moment. And then that's what makes like this whole sequence a little bit more tragic when there's like a beautiful moment of like when he's like riding Sherry, like you were talking about, and like Sherry looks so majestic and they look so happy to be reunited finally, like they're laughing, having a good time, like enjoying the wind, and then all of a sudden like this pretty like devastating panel where Sherry gets shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah,
of course
that's so true. Just like that little bit of that little bit of backstory really connects you with those characters, which makes that moment hit a lot harder. Yeah.
Then we get this despicable villain, Foxy, with his 2 henchmen, and this also works for me too, where like he gets so depressed when Luffy doesn't know who he is, and like then his like his crew has to like try to console him, like no, like I'm sure he's heard of you, like he's just pretending, he's just like no, trying to hurt your feelings, like
Well, Hamburg starts laughing, but
yeah, Hamburg, yeah, but like Portia's just kind of like no, like it's fine, boss, you're good.
It's funny. I feel like we've seen a lot of villains with that sort of characteristic, like Buggy with his nose.
Like
Arlong's kind of like triggered about like fishmen. People talking about fishmen. I don't know. It's funny. It's like a verbal like weakness.
Yeah, I do think it's pretty akin to like Buggy being very like overly sensitive about his nose.
Yep.
But yeah. Then he challenges Luffy to a 3-coin Davy back fight run by Orthodox rules. So we have no idea what this means yet. But Luffy doesn't care. Luffy's like, no, like you want to fight? All right, I'll take you on. So Luffy's just like ready to like beat him up. He's just so mad about the horse. Sorry, the horse. So yeah, so he's ready to fight. But then Usopp has like the sense of dread where he's like, no, Luffy, we can't do that. We're gonna lose our companions. So
don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, maybe Luffy jumped the gun a little bit. But that's where we leave it.
Yep.
All right, so any other thoughts on the chapter?
Very funny, comical.
I loved all the puns. There's a lot of really good puns when they're all just like talking outside, and he was kind of giving them the lowdown on his time above, and like Usopp says, like it's a tall tale, and sorry, this is
the tall tale
joke. Yeah, and he's like that's like, and he says that tall tale. He's like that's sort of a stretch.
Oh yeah.
We live large, like to draw things out.
Okay, yeah, so there's some good puns there.
The long and short of it. Yeah, there's a lot of solid puns in that exchange.
All right. So we did wrap up Skypiea. So let's just get our rankings for the arcs. So let's start with Sean's. So, Sean, do you want to run through yours real quick?
My rankings, I had Arlong Park, yep, at an S rank at number very top, then Alabasta, then Bharati, then an A rank I had Little Garden, then Loketown, then Romance Dawn, then Syrup Village, then Drum Island, and then Jaya. And B rank I had Orange Town, Whiskey Peak, and then Reverse Mountain is technically my least favorite arc so far. I have nothing in C or D at this time, except now I do, or at least one of them, maybe. Okay. Do we want me to go right into now where I'm putting Skypiea?
Yeah, so where would you put Skypiea?
I am moving some stuff down to A rank that I no longer feel is quite S rank. I'm moving Bharati down to A rank, which it will now sit just below Skypiea, which will be the top of A rank to me. Little Garden beneath Bharati, just by a smidge, but we'll see. that may change it this time later. I felt Skypiea was extremely good. It's a couple things keep it from reaching S to me, primarily the lack of death. And while I do feel that it is more connected to the rest of One Piece than a lot of other people think, there is still an argument to be made that a lot of it is just, it's a cool side adventure, a very cool side adventure that at this precise time did not hugely affect anything in the below realm. So for that reason, it's not the same heights to me as something like Alabasta or Arlong Park, which felt much more consequential to what was happening on the ground. But it's still, I think, the top of A rank. I still think it's an incredibly solid arc, and I had a great time reading it again, or technically for the first time.
All right, cool. Let's get Evan's Evan's rankings.
All right. So my current rankings are S tier, Alabasta, Arlong Park, Baratier, and Drum Island. In A rank, I have Little Garden, Lockdown, Jaya, Romance Dawn, Syrup Village, and then in B rank, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain, and Orange Town. I'm gonna put Skypiea in S rank after Baratier, and I think I'm gonna move Drum Island down to A rank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
so then my tier would be Alabasta, Arlong Park, Baratier, and Skypiea in that order.
All right, cool. So I currently had my ranking S tier, Alabasta, Arlong Park, Jaya, Drum Island, Baratier. A tier, Little Garden, Syrup Village, Logtown, Orange Town, Romance Dawn. B tier, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain. So I'm pretty much in the same boat as you guys. I feel like I had similar feelings with Skypiea as well. So Skypiea caused me to shift a little. So I put Skypiea first in A rank, and I shifted. Pretty much. So it's gonna be now S rank, Alabasta, Arlong Park, Jaya, Drum Island. A tier would be Skypiea, Baratier, Little Garden. B tier would be Syrup Village, Logtown, Orange Town, Romance Dawn, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain. So I think Skypiea, it's a really strong arc, but like Sean was saying as well, is it doesn't feel as strong as like the highs that we've seen so far. So I feel like putting it at top of A rank is like the perfect place for it, because it does kind of feel like it shows that there's like another range for the arcs of One Piece, where this kind of was talked about before, where it's like I feel like it recontextualizes what we consider to be like an S tier and A tier. So having more arcs throughout the series will give us better context for what makes a really strong arc in One Piece. I think we're starting to see like which of those arcs really stand out more than the others. And Skypiea has a lot of really great story things, but at the same time, it doesn't resonate with me as much as some of the I think some of the stronger arcs do. So yeah, Skypiea is real entertaining, but not my favorite. So I feel like top of A rank is a good place for it right now. Okay, and now we also have the villain rankings. So right now we currently have S tier is Crocodile, Arlong. A tier is Buggy. B tier is Kuro, Wapol, Krieg. Where should we put Eneru? So let's start with Sean.
I'm gonna say who's in A tier again?
Just Buggy.
I'd put him like borderline tied with Buggy for me.
How are we are we ranking the villains by like power or just by their arc?
How cool we think they are, how
cool
satisfying is what
I would say.
But...
I would say a mix of everything. So like
if we're doing power, then he's more powerful than Buggy. But like,
yeah, I would say like however you personally feel about the villain. It could be like how powerful they are, like in context with like how enjoyable they are as a villain, like how good their plot is, like are they entertaining, like whatever you want to use like to judge like what you think is a good villain.
Okay, yeah, I think in that regard I agree with Sean. I'd probably put him A above. I don't know, maybe Yeah, I'm kind of like
See,
equal
the
Buggy.
live
I could see
action
him going in
series is
front or
kind of
behind
influencing
Buggy.
me a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it is for me too a little bit.
I'm doing it. I'm
just
doing
by
it.
manga. Just by manga.
I think strength wise, I think Enru is probably the strongest we've seen so far.
In a way.
Okay, so where would you personally want to put Enru in this ranking?
I would say A above Buggy.
I would also say A above Buggy.
Okay. Yeah,
What would you
I
say?
would have put him probably S rank behind Arlong. Again,
I can
mostly
see
just
that.
because like the sheer power, because we haven't seen anybody to this extent before. But I'm completely fine putting him like A tier next to Buggy. That works for me. Yeah, because as a villain, I personally don't find him as entertaining as Crocodile or Arlong, and like his story doesn't feel as
Yeah.
personal with those villains. So
Agreed.
okay, so yeah, that is our updated ranking for the villains. With that being said, that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We Are Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on the YouTube channel at We're Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we have recorded the podcast so far, so if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. Next episode, we will be discussing Volume 33, Davy Back Fight. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Sean.
This has been Sean. Party!
And Evan.
A final Hesso.
Hesso!
Hesso for the last time.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.